After a breakup, we all want quick relief. We look for the perfect advice that will help us to move on faster. We talk to our friends, read articles online, and watch videos where we hear the same phrases repeated, such as just focus on yourself, stay busy, don't contact your ex, and time heals all wounds. But if this advice is so simple, then why can it be so hard to follow? The problem is not the advice, it's the willingness to do what is necessary and the willpower to choose what is difficult. Most people try to move on without facing the pain, discomfort, and self-reflection that is required, and instead they will chase shortcuts, easy answers, and quick fixes. But the ability to move on comes from making those hard choices that may hurt you now, but will lead to real growth in the long run. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you the real reason why you can't move on from your ex, and how you can fix this. You already know the advice. Give it time, don't contact them, and focus on yourself. But knowing what to do and actually doing it are two completely different things. When you lack the willpower to move on, it's easy to get caught in this cycle of feeling motivated and also deceiving yourself. For example, you'll hear great advice online or from a friend, and you'll feel really inspired for a few minutes, and you say to yourself, okay, this is it. I'm gonna move on now, I'm gonna take this advice. But then literally a few hours or a few minutes later, you fall back into old habits. You get your phone out, you start scrolling, you open their profile, you send them a message that you promised yourself you would not send only a few minutes ago. And so what you're experiencing is not a lack of knowledge or a lack of advice, but a lack of willpower to actually follow through. You know exactly what you should do and what will benefit you in the long run, but when the actual moment of choice comes, you'd rather lean into that temporary relief you get from stalking your ex or messaging them or whatever it is, distracting yourself with social media, because that is far easier than doing the hard work of facing your own emotions. You tell yourself that you're just not ready yet, or that it's easier to avoid the truth, or that you'll just do it later. And this is the cycle. Brief moments of motivation from all this advice you see online, followed by lapsing back into comfort. It's just the classic trap that people fall into of wanting to move on from their ex but not doing what is actually necessary to move on from them. You've already heard the advice and you know logically what you should do to get over your ex, but when it comes down to it, you choose familiarity and ease over discomfort. And that is the real reason you can't move on, because you consistently choose what is easy. You'd rather have that warm, fuzzy feeling inside when you reminisce about those good old times or you think about texting them than you would the dread or the discomfort of sitting with your emotions and working through that baggage. So if you do actually want to move on from your ex, you have to commit to the hard path and you have to mean it. If you say you're going to do something for yourself, then you have to do it. Not because you're trying to prove anything to the outside world, but because you have to prove it to yourself. Because every time that you feel an urge to contact your ex or to stalk their socials, and instead of indulging that urge, you now just observe it and feel it, now you're reinforcing a new message to yourself that you are in fact capable of moving on. This is not an overnight process because it's going to take a lot of time to consistently make the choices that you know are good for you. But what's initially hard gets easier as time goes on. They say that time will heal all wounds, but I've always had a problem with that saying because many people don't want to heal. The wound they have from the breakup is comforting to them, like it's a last link to their ex who they can't let go of. So I think a better saying would be, time will heal you if you allow it to. There will still be days where you might fall back into old habits and find yourself obsessing over your ex. And now you might think, oh, I guess I really haven't moved on. But in those moments, it's not about punishing yourself because at the end of the day, you're still human. But it is about understanding that each choice you make will either strengthen or weaken your ability to move on from your ex. So if right now you are someone who is constantly distracting themselves with either work or social media or even other relationships, and you can't sit alone with your thoughts for a minute without your ex creeping into your head and you feeling the need to reach out to them, then don't be surprised if you can't move on, because that is a choice that you are making. Now, you don't need to be perfect or to have insane amounts of willpower to move on, But you do need to have the resolve to keep doing what is hard, even when you don't want to. And that is what we call discipline. At the core of moving on is obviously embracing this discomfort and pain that the breakup has left you with. And most people will try to avoid this, thinking that the pain is going to swallow them whole. But feeling the emotional sting without running away is what is going to allow you to heal. I'm not saying that you should just wallow in self-pity all day and be all depressed and stare at a wall for hours on end. But you can actively move through the pain by embracing it. I personally moved on a lot quicker just simply by allowing myself to be sad, to let my chest tighten up, and then to ask myself why I still feel this way. Why can I not move on? And learning the answer to that question is what has let me make this video. The real reason you can't move on is not because you don't have enough advice or because time isn't passing fast enough. It's because you are avoiding what is hard. You're still distracting yourself. You're still hoping that by keeping busy the pain will somehow go away. You're still choosing what is easy. But real healing and the ability to move on is from choosing what is difficult. You have to be willing to embrace all the discomfort and emotions that this breakup has left you with. You can't just keep avoiding it forever, or you can, but in that case you will never move on. And while it won't be easy or instant, over time those small decisions you make will add up and lead to a powerful change. So the next time you feel tempted to check their social media or to reach out to them, remember that it's not about avoiding the pain. It's about choosing to confront it, knowing that every uncomfortable moment will lead you closer to moving on. Time only heals you if you allow it to, and you have to be willing to do the hard work. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in my next one.